what has been your hardest task as a leader? Um, I think maybe the hardest task as a leader is being vulnerable and admitting when you make a mistake. So um, maybe it's just like culturally, or maybe it's just kind of like a perception that we have of leadership. But we're kind of supposed to be like strong, like perfect, like never make a mistake, always be confident in what you're doing. And I think that's just how it's kind of perceived. But I think like that's kind of a false idea of what leadership is. I think leadership is being vulnerable and not being afraid to show your weakness and ask for help. I think that makes you more human. And when you make mistakes, like don't try to talk or reason yourself out of them, just admit like, hey, I made a mistake. And I think, especially as a leader, like that's really hard to do. So, question 5. Do you believe others look to you as a leader? I think anytime you are put in a position of influence, and really that can be on any scale, I think you put yourself in a position of leadership. In fact, the great John Maxwell said that leadership defined in one word as influence. And, sometimes that can be directly or indirectly, but yeah, I think because I am where I am, people look at me as a leader. So, yeah. So, 6th question right here. How has leadership impacted your life? I was just talking with somebody the other day about learning like what I didn't want to be as a leader as opposed to what I did want to be, because I feel like those lessons stand out more.
Do you have an apron?
Like I've served in areas where I said to myself, like, I never want to be like that guy or that gal, or I never want to be that type of leader, because I think it's really easy to pinpoint the mistakes or the shortcomings or the weaknesses. So,
well, I think it's
I've definitely been impacted by bad leaders, but I'm finding now as I get older and as I become a father and as I step into more responsibilities, that the good leaders in my life are kind of like subtly coming to the surface. So, case in point, my senior pastor growing up, I only had one pastor, and he was there for 25 years at the church, was just the quintessence, would be the word I'd use, of faithfulness, godliness, and wisdom, and patience, and love. I mean, the guy was just a fantastic example of a role model. And when I find myself now where I'm just challenged to be faithful, and I'm put in situations where I have to make a decision, like where I need wisdom, I think of him. I just really admire him. My grandparents too. I was talking to them yesterday, Easter Sunday, and just thinking about how good of role models they've been in my life. So yeah, I'm shaped by good leaders too, for sure. Who are my leaders? Well, I have several of them here for sure. I have a guy that I work with by the name of Pastor Brent. He's our executive pastor here, and he's a fantastic leader. He keeps all of us, because there's several of us here at Westgate, he keeps all of us in line, and he keeps everything running really smoothly. Pastor Alec, our senior pastor, is definitely one of my leaders. He is an incredible guy who just speaks life to all of us and takes time to ask the good questions. So, yeah, definitely one of my leaders. I think, I don't know, I've had leaders come and go throughout my life. There's a man by the name of John Davis who really mentored me and led me for several years. Leaders come and go, for sure. I think their lessons always stick with me. 8 says, do you believe you are a natural leader, or did you choose the leadership position? I think it's kind of twofold. I think it's two sides of the same coin. I think people can be born leaders. Like, people tend to have maybe just a personality that comes natural. Maybe they're charismatic, they're just really suave, they're really confident, or whatever, whatever we kind of think about when it comes to leadership stereotypes. But I think leadership is also a skill. Like, I think just like anything else in life, you can learn how to be a good leader. In fact, like, I think if you just rely on your charisma and your silver tongue or your ability to like speak or reason or whatever alone, then I think you can find yourself in a lot of trouble when your personal habits don't reflect your character. And really, I think part of leadership boils down to having really solid personal habits. In fact, I think leadership is one of those things that's really defined and crafted and molded in the secret places in our lives and in the small places in our lives when no one else is looking. I think that's what leadership really, is crafted and molded and made. So I think people can be fantastic leaders even if they're not most charismatic or most comfortable in front of people or anything like that, because they have strong character. I think character is one of those things, like, you can't learn how to have character. Either you have character or you don't. So anyways, number 9, what have you learned being a leader? Oh man, you know what? I think most recently I've learned, and there's a TED Talk on this that you can look up, it's like 3 minutes long, but I think I've learned that leadership really is kind of over-glorified. In this TED Talk I'm referring to, he talks about starting a movement and how movements or momentum is not based on the leader, it's based on the followers, because new followers don't emulate the leader, they emulate the followers. So in other words, like, when I think about the early church, we all strive to be like Jesus, yes, we all want to be more like him, but I think when you look at the early church and how it began, people were really trying to be like followers. They were trying to be like the apostles. Think of the argument that Paul makes when he talks about being baptized in Apollos or being baptized in Paul, and they say, I'm just thankful I didn't baptize any of you guys because I'm baptized in Christ. And so leadership is really overglorified. If you can learn how to treat your first followers like equals and really give them the tools that they need to succeed right away, then I think that your new followers will emulate your first followers, and that's really important. So, yeah. Last question. What was the most unexpected thing you ran into when going into a leadership position? Well, when I think of when I came out of Southwestern and when I started here in Washington, I went from a church of like 30 people, that's including like children and students, to a church of, a little under 200 people, which was there in Anacortes. And then I'm at a church now of a little over 2,000. And